Okay, so we talked about you can cover up the variable that you're plugging 0 in with your thumb here and look at what you got left over and solve that equation. Or you can do what you see up here. So I got the x-intercept in blue. Let's do the y-intercept in red. We'll do it right down here. To find the y-intercept, we're going to be plugging in 0 for x here. So you get 2 times 0 minus y is equal to 2. 2 times 0 is 0, leaving me with just negative y is equal to 2. So either multiply or divide by negative 1 on both sides here, and you get a y value of negative 2. I plugged in 0 for x, got negative 2 back out for y. So there's your y-intercept. I'll accept the ordered pair or just the value itself. And now all of this was done so I could graph this thing. Okay, so it's kind of a lot of work before we actually do what's asked to be done here. So I take my red pen here to graph the y-intercept at 0, negative 2. It gives me a point right there. And then the x-intercept is going to be graphed at 1, 0, right there. And then we take and draw a line through the 2 points. Alright, so plug in 0 for y to find the x-intercept, plug in 0 for x to find the y-intercept, plot the points, draw your line. Number 6, again, we're graphing a linear equation, but this time we're graphing by making a table. And I gave you the x values that I wanted you to use. And we can use any x values we want, but we want to try to keep them pretty small and easy to deal with. And I told you that we're going to be using the skill that we used in number 4 and number 6. That's because I want to solve this equation for y before I start plugging stuff in. And let's look at y, okay? Because you don't necessarily have to mathematically for this to work, but it's going to be easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off just using the negative 1 for x here, and I'm going to kind of do it both ways. I'm going to take the original equation and I'm going to plug in negative 1 for x. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And now when I solve this thing for y, all I'm doing here is subtracting 1 from both sides, so you get this. Okay, and when I plug in negative 1 into this equation, it looks like this. Alright, so let's think about what our end game is here. What are we trying to do? Why are we plugging in this negative 1? Okay, well, what I'm ultimately trying to get is a corresponding y value that goes with my x value. That way I can build myself an ordered pair and come over here and plot it on my graph. So the entire purpose of plugging in this x is to get my y back, right? So with the blue equation, I've got 1 plus y is equal to negative 3, and then add 3 to both sides to get 4 plus y is equal to 0, and then subtract 4 from both sides to get y is equal to negative 4. Okay, that is quite a few steps to get my corresponding y value of negative 4. Okay, with the red equation, I've got 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, minus 1 is negative 4. This can also much more easily be done in your head than this over here. Okay, and as the equations get a little more complex, then it's going to be even more beneficial for you to have it solved for y first. Okay, so that's why I'm telling you solve these things for y before you start plugging in. It's not because I just want you to get practice. I mean, that's part of it. But I'm trying to make it easier on you. And also, this is a certain form, not standard form, but is a certain form that you're going to see a lot of this year. Okay, so I want you to get used to getting things into this form and working with things in this form. It's going to benefit you moving forward. Okay? So now we already know what this is when I solve it for y. And we just did this when we know that we're going to get a -4 here. So when I plug in 0 for x, my y value is going to be a -1. When I plug in 1 for x, my y value, 3 minus 1, is 2. When I plug in 2 for x, I get a y value of 6 minus 1 is 5. And each one of these, going from left to right, builds an ordered pair. This is -1, -4. This is 0, -1. This is 1, 2. And this is 2, 5. All right, now I take those ordered pairs and I plot them on my graph. So start at the origin, go -1, -4, 0, -1, 1, 2, and 2, 5. Once you plot your points, go ahead and draw a line. That's horrible. Draw a line through all 4 points. And you want your line not necessarily to be quite this long, okay, but you want it to go all the way through all 4 of your points. So what I mean by that is this. When you draw these lines, I don't want them to be definitely not like this. You don't want to start and stop on your points either. Okay, because I have an infinite number of x values that could be plugged in here. Okay, remember we talked about the fact that this is a function, which means it's got an infinite number of inputs and outputs. I can keep going on to positive infinity with x and keep going on to negative infinity with x and continue getting y values back out. And so that's the reason that we're taking our line all the way through like so. And then you want to put your arrows on the end to indicate that this goes on in both directions to positive and negative infinity. Hopefully this helps you out on these concepts. If you're still kind of confused with this, hey, please remember that I am posting these videos to my Flipped Classroom website. You can go back and rewatch them, pause it, rewind it. You know, if there's one problem that you're struggling with, then watch that one problem over and over. And if you're still just not getting it, you know, send me an email, send me a message, let me know, hey, this particular thing is kind of tripping me up, and I'll do my best to try to explain it to you via email or via message. If that doesn't work, then we'll just have to get back at it when I come back next Monday. Okay, so Ms. Zintek has an assignment for you to work on now. You're going to be able to work on this in pairs. You can scoot your desk if you'd like to, but don't be up moving around the room. Don't get up and change seats. Okay, work with the neighbors. Scoot your desk if you'd like. Whatever you don't finish in class today of the assignment she gives you, go ahead and finish that for homework tonight, and we'll review that tomorrow. Okay, and I'll talk to you then.